Hello and welcome to Desi Martini. My name is Sandeep, and right now I have with me the entire cast, crew, and the director of Flesh. Hello to everybody, and welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. My first question is everybody pertaining to the show. When a topic as hard-hitting as this comes to the fore, it actually comes to your hand and it's written and then it's directed, you guys act in it. Firstly, it's written, obviously. What exactly are the takeaways? What are the apprehensions that perhaps goes on through your minds, and how do you exactly overcome them? And then at the end of it, when it finishes, what are the takeaways? And are there any new enlightening, perhaps learnings to that matter?
Well, I think that for me, I had Danish had actually been talking to me about this show when he had just joined and he was working on it, and before any casting had been done. So I had a vague idea of what he was working on, and when he asked me whether I'd be interested to sort of play the part and read the script, I said, yeah, sure, send it to me. My first sort of thought was how, actually, I must admit, I didn't know very much about the world of human trafficking, apart from like the very basic knowledge that is available to a lay person. And so I kind of read the script, I think pretty much with fairly blank slate, so to speak, and I was pretty horrified when I read. And I think one of the first things I asked Danish was like, is this based on like, what is this all based on? And I was pretty shocked to find out when he said that many of the incidents that are in the show are things that they had heard of and that Pooja had heard of while she was researching the show, while she was writing it. For me, the most shocking part of this whole business was, and I've been saying this repeatedly, but I think it bears repetition, is the complicity of civil society in this nexus. Because you don't have a situation where a trade reaches, something like, I think it's an ILO report of 2014 that says $150 billion in profit in the human trafficking trade. You don't reach that kind of scale and numbers without levels of civil society either condoning it, excusing it, looking away, being tacitly complicit, or being actively complicit. And that's something I think very nicely they kind of bring into the show, that the levels at which the complicity operates, whether it's local police stations, individual police people, civil society, just people who could be our friends in college or living in the next building. That was the most sort of shocking part and the biggest takeaway for me.
Akshay?
Yeah, since Swara basically said all the major stuff about the world, and that is the major concern. I'm just going to talk about my personal experience. Danish is someone that is not only a friend but somebody we've collaborated with before, and working with him, I hate to say it because he's a friend and I'd rather make fun of him, but I love working with him. And then he brought a character to me that I thought was like the coolest thing I'd heard in a long time. So I really wanted to play it. The second he kind of gave me the idea of what this guy was about, it's one of those things that scared me to a point where I was like, yaar, main kar paunga, nahi kar paunga. And that's exactly when I know I need to do something. So you rarely get these kind of parts, particularly in our kind of context, meaning the Indian context. Parts are just not written like this, like Taj's character. So I ran to it. And of course, as Swaran very correctly pointed out, there were so many things that I had realized I turned a blind eye to, which I think is quite eye-opening, and I think it is for the audience as well. But I had a blast. Yeah, it sounds terrible when you're making content like this, but I had so much fun playing Taj.
Especially when you're playing an absolute pervert, violent pervert.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody has a dark side, and we just let people bring it out.
My wife says that she has nightmares about me now, Danny. Can you believe it?
Yeah, she messaged me saying that.
She literally told me she has nightmares about me. I can't.
Everybody has nightmares about you now.
Not
terrible,
after
And the fact that
6
Taj
months of the
literally
shoot,
licked my face and hit me and choked me was horrendous. Let me tell you.
Yeah, even when I was watching, I was a bit like,
That is based on a true story. I know a little bit about Akshay's past, so I decided to incorporate bits of it into the...
See,
okay, Danish. Okay, Danish. My next question is to you. When we are talking about such, reality-based shows. And I mean, writing, which is absolutely taken from bits and pieces of the real world, for that matter. How much of a difficulty it is in terms of portraying it on the screen. What are the issues that one faces as a person who's behind the camera, and in terms of fixing up the entire scenario, going up to the production house and talking about it, and what are the changes that perhaps comes across from the production the channels or whatever.
I'd like to start off by saying that 6 months of the shoot, when they were over, my wife very seriously and still maintains this, wanted me to get into therapy. So the first challenge is maintaining your sanity, because she thought that it had either unlocked a dark part of my psyche, or I was actually like that and she didn't know it yet. Which is exactly what Akshay's wife Jyoti also had tells him, that I didn't know that you you were this dark. As far as the production house and the challenges logistically goes, the advantage that I had was that the idea came from the production house, because Siddharth Anand, who's the producer of the show and is a very acclaimed director himself, he had developed this concept, a basic story idea with another writer. And then when me and Pooja came on board, there was already this world in place. And then obviously we, kind of fleshed it out and expanded it over 8 episodes and over, I think, about 3 to 4 months of writing. So to answer your first point, there wasn't much pushback from the production house side, because that was, it came from them. And in fact, if anything, Sid being a director helped, because he kept telling me before I started shoot that I don't want you to hold back in any way. Make it as real, raw, gritty and realistic as possible, because that's what the subject demands. And I went ahead and did just that. As far as the day-to-day logistics go, it's it was, every day was a challenge, because just walking into a room full of 6 girls, including Mahima, and saying that I'm now going to send Taj inside and I don't know what he's going to do. So just be prepared. And what he's going to do is apparently lick Mahima's face. So, things like that. And shooting with the kids, for example, because there were a lot of, disturbing scenes with them as well. You have to be doubly sensitive and careful. You have to make sure that communication is open with everybody. So I made sure that everybody on set knew at all times what we were doing, what was going to happen, so that there were no surprises. And if anybody was uncomfortable, then, which actually never happened, funnily enough, I always said that we can take some time to sit and talk. Swara being uncomfortable is a historic trend since 2016, but that has nothing to do with the nature of the script.
The only girl that's ever cried in an intimate scene.
Yeah.
With Danish is also a director there.
You guys are... do not cross shows. Let's talk about Flesh, guys.
I just want to remind you of that day, Swara. I just want to remind you of that moment.
Guys,
Generally, last time I worked with Swara and Akshay, they were lovers in the show, so it was a little difficult to bring that around. But,
all right, Danish, from what you just said, it is definitely a piece of the real world. We have such characters out there, and when as a person who's behind the lens, obviously Pooja has written the story. Pooja Ladaswati, who's a director, who's an editor herself. I love her work. So, do you think, to a certain extent, she kind of had the edit in mind while she was writing the story, or was it just writing the story without? The edit could perhaps be looked after later.
Pooja did write the story. She did not edit it, however. It was edited by a really competent editor called Abhishek Sid. But to backtrack a little bit, have you ever met Pooja in real life? Have you ever seen her?
No, I haven't.
Because
I haven't.
So that's the whole point. So when I first sat down to write with her, and when I was introduced to her the first time, Pooja is a lovely, sweet, round, grey-haired mother who looks like if somebody sneezed too hard in front of her, she'd get horrified. And then she comes back to you with these scripts which are full of children getting tortured and people getting mutilated. And with Pooja, the thing is that you have to get over how she looks, because appearances can really be deceptive in her case. She's the complete polar opposite of Flesh in every way when you meet her. So
Okay.
the first to get over that surprise. But secondly, I don't think we kept an edit in mind, because see, the thing is, when you're writing series, and this is something that content creators in India are now beginning to realize, because now suddenly web series have over the last couple of years picked up and are viable options even for film actors and directors to do, which they weren't when we started. Me, Swara and Akshay started back in 2016. The thing is that writing it is a skill set that we are still developing, because we're not used to it. We are used to either writing films which are 2 hours of content, or we're used to writing daily soaps which are 500 episodes and continuing non-stop. This limited mini-series format of 8-10 episodes, where stories are told just within 300 minutes, is something that was new for Pooja as well. I mean, I've done it now. This is my third show. But with Pooja also, it was something that she was kind of figuring out as we went along. So I don't think there was an edit in mind while we were writing it. We did end up shooting, like always happens, a lot of extra stuff which got cut out eventually in the edit for pacing. I think we shot in total, I counted about 9.5 episodes by the end of it, out of which we created it, out of which there were 8 finally.
Okay. Coming to Mahima and Vidya. Vidya, you've got to tell me, how has the entire experience been? What were your perhaps what exactly were your takeaways from the show, and what did you actually, infer from your part?
So for me, I think when I first read it, I was quite horrified myself. And like Swara said, you're not, until you actually get into it, you don't realize how obnoxious or how disturbing this whole thing is. In fact, even after reading it, for me, I think I was, particularly with Reba, the character's name, Reba Gupta, I think I was quite, I felt that it was like a really nice, well-rounded sort of a character that had come to me. And I really enjoyed whatever little that I had to do. I thought it was quite lovely, and having Yudhishthir with me was really, really amazing, because I've not worked with him, but I've known him for a while now. It was fabulous with Danish, because he's just the funniest person around. Even if you're like hysterical and you're crying and there's madness going around, he's forever cracking jokes and he's forever making light of things. So it never felt like there's this huge
just a perfect director.
Just perfect.
To help you in an emotional
I would
scene.
add
Just
to
perfect.
Just
Absolutely.
perfect. That is what he was. But no, that also gives, and he just allows you. He just like lets you be, to do what you want to do, to explore what you want to explore. And he's just there to sort of guide you in bits and parts and tell you that, this is good, this is that. There's no frown on his face, there's nothing. I've never seen him like that. He's forever smiling and happy. So even if it's like the most...
Vidya, I want to meet the Danish you've met. Please introduce me to this Danish.
The only reason I'm doing this interview is because it's being recorded, and I now have video evidence of all of you all saying good things about me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, hello, I sent you a message also saying good things about you, so please.
If there was a 7 Doves thing, he would definitely be grumpy.
I actually have a t-shirt that I bought from Disney World with
the thing is, even after shooting all nights and nights after nights, he was never grumpy, dude. Like, I get grumpy because I like my batti kuchos at like 10:30 at night.
That's the magic of coffee, which stays hot for 12 hours.
I saw that on his hand and I was like...
Yes.
This interview has
Yeah,
gone
Mahima, tell us about Danish.
every other direction.
Yeah, Mahima, please tell us about Danish.
Yes, tell us about Danish.
I think it was important to set like a very comfortable environment for all of us, because I come, when I read the script, I was anyway horrified ki how am I going to pull off this character and how is it going to be like on the set. And to talk about what Swara said, hame pata hota hai about human trafficking and the world that this exists, but itni complexity hogi or itna sab kuch hoga, I didn't have much of an idea about that. So for me, the cloud and the bubble just bursted, and I think it was the important part of the story, and the main agenda of the story is that the people are more aware and alert about, every man that we see walking down with a kid from the train is not his father, and it's important for people to be more aware and alert. And initially I was I don't know. I was terrified because, you know, I come from a very comfortable space. You know, I've been doing TV for so long that I never thought
Yes.
in my wildest dreams that, you know, I would be considered for such kind of part. And, you know, I thought that, you know, this is a challenge and I should go for it. And to talk about the experience, you know, it was a different territory that I stepped into, you know, approach of the character, the taking, the prep, everything was different. I think the only constant was the camera and me. And it definitely wasn't an easy job because you know, every day, you know, just another day on the set, I'm getting beaten or I'm slapped, or, you know, we have to visualize that, you know, somebody is getting raped. It did take a toll on me as a person, you know. You know, to an extent that I used to come back home and I wanted to isolate myself because
Right.
पता नहीं shoot करते करते I did become that character, and I couldn't, you know, the more I went into it, the more I, you know, I dig deeper into it, I realized that this is not just fiction, you know, this is the reality, and it is the harsh reality.
Exactly.
So it did make me more aware as a person, and it was fun, you know. पहले मुझे लगा कि कैसे होगा, because, you know, I come from a background where you know, TV actors are being looked upon, you know, and I thought that maybe there'll be some kind of intimidation that I'll come across, but that didn't happen. And I had a blast shooting with Danish sir, and he was a lovely person to be around.
सीखो कुछ नालायकों.
To add to that,
Yeah, I
Swara, I
know
come
what
back
it is,
to
like
you.
we are some घर की मुर्गी or something. ये हमें
I
कोई
think he just
achievement
treats us
नहीं
badly.
चाहिए दानिश से.
अरे ये तो इनके साथ तो काम कर चुका हूँ यार, ये तो मेरे दोस्त हैं मेरे.
On a serious note, I do want
Guys,
to
I
add
just
that
have
Mahima's
78
character for
minutes
me,
more.
I just want to add
Sorry?
one thing, is that Mahima's character was for me the most difficult to cast, simply because I knew that was the one person who was going to be traumatized on set the most. So she,
Absolutely.
for me at least, I was always keeping one eye out for her, and I would always go to her after every scene and talk to her for a little while at the beginning of every day, because I knew that was one person who really needed to maybe have her hand held through this process, because she is also the one who goes through the most amount of trauma in the show. So,
No,
so
even I
good
went
for you.
through trauma.
You,
And I
you
think
survived
as
things.
actors,
Swara,
and I think to also add to this, as actors, you also tend to become emotional, and you know, you try to relate yourself with the situation that you're in. So I think I just, you know, and जब आपको ऐसा मौका मिला है कि बस जान डालनी है, perform करना है, तो you don't want to lose it. And then it's a bit of scary that, you know, you become that character and you take that world home, which is a bit scary. But I think that is the only process and prep that I thought of.
You know, but the
Swara,
one thing that I
Swara, you
realized
tell
when I
me,
went through...
Vidya,
Sorry,
1 second,
sorry.
please. It's okay. Swara, you tell me, you know, when you're playing the role of a cop in the show, in the series. So, you know, when Mahima is talking about taking your characters back home, did you ever kind of feel that perhaps, you know, I'm too much into the character and I'm actually taking my character back home? Did that ever happen with you?
Well, I had a whole other set of challenges as far as this character was concerned, which were at a more basic physical level, like just being able to run, being able to shoot a gun. So, the emotional wala, to I think that I was not. I mean, I was more concerned about whether I will be able to just physically be able to do the basic minimum that is required in action.
But what kind
So
of an
all my
actor are you? Are you
expectations
like
were-
a snap in and a snap out actor? As like, I mean, when the director calls a cut, you can kind of come out of the character that you're playing, and you don't really feel the urge or the need to kind of take it back home or something like that.
No. I mean, I'm not. No, but I think that, I mean, on a more serious note, I mean, one that I found it very difficult, the physical aspect of this character very difficult, especially since the first day when I had to run, Danish looked at the monitor and said, "That's Swara, you run like Phoebe from Friends." And then that just became the framework within which every thing was shot. And he also came up with a name of my action alter ego called Patto Apa. So every time I could shoot the gun properly or anything, Danish would be like, "ये देखो Patto Apa आ गई हैं रसोड़े से यहाँ पे action करने." So ये सब चल रहा था. But on a more serious note, I do want to say that I think from everyone over here, I had it easier emotionally. Though Radha also has a very has a baggage and she has her demons, which you realize. But I think because at one level the story has a very classical good versus evil kind of structure, right? Like I represent the force, the hope, basically. So every time Radha is there, and even when she comes in the screenplay, there's actually a bit of a breather from all the horrendous things that are happening around. Because Radha pehle 5 episode mein to बेचारी suspend हो रही है, फाइलें पास कर रही है, वो तो अपने ऑफिस से नहीं निकल पा रही है पहले 5-6 episode में. So it actually served in a weird way. I actually found the role to be very positive for me personally, and also emotionally. There's something very empowering about this character, and you realize that when you finish watching the whole scene, because actually at some level Akshay's character and my character are two mirrors of two ways in which trauma, two ways in which you can potentially the outcome of trauma, like different people, like what can happen to two different people. Not to say that either of that they have both suffered, both the characters have suffered, but how they turn out differently. So I actually found the character to be very empowering and actually very positive. And even when I was watching the show, I actually felt like Vidya ma'am's character is so horrendous to lose your child, or Mahima's character, which is like just absolutely just living horrors. What Akshay Oberoi was doing, licking people, and what can one say? So that character is really, really evil, like vile darkness in this person. So actually Radha's character becomes the one where you're like, all right, she's coming. I mean, she's taking forever, but she's coming. So it actually represents a positive thing. So I actually didn't feel that dark in the shooting of the show. But then, of course, there's always Danish on set to kind of sprinkle a little
were there any influences?
Darkness in all our lives.
Get influenced by anybody? Or did you perhaps refer to someone while portraying the character? Did you have that in mind?
Yeah, I think these are very original characters, that's a very tough thing to bring in.
So Akshay, coming to you, what exactly? What was your brief? What was the brief that was given to you, Akshay? For your bisexual
see, a lot of what's in the script is, it's there enough to know what kind of guy this is. I think the best part for me, or actually let me start with saying the easiest part for me was that Danish kind of already had a look in mind for the character. He kind of knew that this person would have the hair that was white and probably have some piercings and maybe be a bit androgynous in terms of his makeup, and there's a little bit of blush and a little bit of kajal eyeliner that we've used. All those things really helped me, the clothes, the really gaudy jackets, the golden shoes, all those things, because, and believe it or not, I'm not actually at all like Taj. And for me to even begin understanding how dark and how vile and how mean and cruel this person is, it was tough. So I kind of had to start with a look externally and then move on to the internals of the character. And I think it definitely took a toll on me. It's just because of what you're doing on set and the mind space you're in. So I would definitely come home and, Jyoti would definitely tell me that, you're not you right now. I don't really feel like talking to you right now. There were moments like that. And sadistically, I think I like to stay there because I feel like it feeds into the work. And I know that, okay, this is just for 2 months or 1 month or whatever, and then I'll be done. But if I let this go, then I might lose the guy. So I'm always in constant fear of that. So I kind of kept him around. Of course, I didn't come home and do what Taj does, but you're in a mind state. You're in a mind state. I just, people, I don't want people to
Akshay used to come home every day and lick the furniture because he wasn't allowed to do anything.
I still do, actually.
Starts again.
All right. My next question is to Danish. Danish, as far as women exploitation and children exploitation, girls being exploited are concerned, and showcasing them and portraying them on cinema is concerned, we have had quite a few hard-hitting films in the past as well. I'm talking about Love, Sonia. It was a lovely film, and I kind of digged every part of it. What were your from where did you actually kind of perhaps take your inferences or take your influences from that, for that matter, that you could perhaps hold the reins for the film?
From his twisted brain. I was
actually gonna put it on someone else. I said my first inspiration was the deep, dark twisted mind of Pooja Lada Surti, who wrote the story.
Okay.
Because every time she'd come up with something, it would horrify me, and then I'd look at her lovely smiling face and go, "बहन आपको life में क्या सदमा पहुंचा है? मतलब what is it that has happened? क्यों आप ऐसे लिख रहे हो?" So that's one. As far as I don't think stylistically, I actually, for a change, did not do a whole lot of referencing, which was, I think, a conscious decision, because this was the first time I was doing this genre. I've never done,
Right.
much like Swara, I've never done any action before, and I had not done this space before. So I was actually really excited, which is, I mean, why I jumped at the opportunity to direct the show and to write it with her. It wasn't, I didn't do much referencing in terms of that. Where I did do a certain amount of referencing was for the action sequences. Like the whole chase between Swara and Viju through the streets of Bombay is very obviously referenced from Black Friday and that epic
Yes.
chase through the streets. That was what was in my mind when I was shooting that. This scene of Taj punching that guy and the blood splatter is also from a show, a similar sequence that I'd seen in another show and a character that I'd seen do that. Yeah, the problem with these interviews is that हमें एक दूसरे से इतनी बात करनी है कि वो interviewer के सवाल साइड में जा रहे हैं.
संदीप ऐसे बैठे हुए हैं.
आप
संदीप ऐसे
सवाल
हैं.
पूछिए, हम बात की जा रहे हैं.
हम चाय वाय ले आते हैं ना. ये तो this is a chat. This is a general
और
chat.
बिस्किट, चाय और बिस्किट मैं दोनों लेके रेडी हूँ.
Given the fact there are so many nice hard-hitting films in the world scenario as well, as far as
Yeah, that's why
sex
that's
trafficking and women.
that is true. That is true. But I feel that like I said, because this was a new space for me, and B, the characters as such was so were unique. I mean, I'd never seen characters like this in any other form of fiction, where I could kind of reference them and say, you know what, I'd like you to channel this person or this show or this movie. What we did base a lot of it on once we started writing is that I and even Pooja came along. We went and met quite a few. We met some NGOs. We met some cops who had worked in HTU. And we heard stories and we kind of spoke to them about their experiences. So, like, the people the cops who had worked in HTU, they used to think that, for example, rescuing girls was the highest kind of punya that they could do in this life, because for them, just that act of saving those girls used to make them feel good. And then you'd hear stories like Swara was saying about the involvement of civil society. You'd hear stories about just one example is the Bhabis of Mira Road, who were apparently like there were a few housewives there. क्या हो गया Swara? मैंने कुछ गलत बोला क्या?
नहीं, मैं बस कह रही हूँ ऐसे जनरलाइज मत करो. वहाँ पे उनके कॉर्पोरेटर्स आके आपको ये कर देंगे.
Okay, yeah, ठीक है. That's true. But having said that,
हंसल मेहता ने बोल दिया था ना खार डांडा के बारे में, और वहाँ पे आ गई थी उनकी
the Bhabis of a suburban part of Mumbai, where basically these housewives would rent out their house as brothels when their husbands would go to work. So like, and the husbands would know, and by the time they'd come back at 5 p.m., the bedroom would be clean and set back to normal. So there were a lot of these real world instances that we heard about, like Swara met a few cops, like Ahana's mom and stuff like that, who, a woman in a man's world. How do you grow to that senior position in the police department, and what you have to do to yourself physically and mentally to get there? So a lot of it was based on that, honestly, rather than any other works of cinema or fiction.
Wow, I didn't know about this, dude.
It's
Vijay,
horrifying.
you tell me
When you
what-
start talking to the cabs, it's horrifying. The kind of stuff that happens.
It really is.
Vijay, you tell me, what exactly was perhaps one of the most challenging factors as far as you and the series is concerned?
What?
What, according to you, was perhaps one of the most challenging things that you've done in the series, and things that perhaps were really difficult for you to portray on screen as far as the series is concerned?
So you're asking me what was challenging for me? I think
Yes.
the first and the foremost thing was just losing somebody, which is like a piece of your heart. And the thing is, I think I've kind of gone through something like that in my own life. So at every point in time, I think I kept drawing it out of my own self, because that space, I've been there for a while in my life, and to keep going and keep nudging it over and again was seriously like creating scratches all over and going back to my past. So it's just, I think, came from somewhere really, really deep within. How heartbroken she might be just by just simple things like, when she's looking at her. I mean, I've done this in my real life, where I've picked up someone's shirt or t-shirt and smelled it and say, like, why, where are you, and where, what, why, all of that. So that really sort of, it was literally knocking somewhere deep within in my heart throughout, and that resonated throughout, which is why when I read it, I felt that this is I want to do this, because I know this is somewhere whatever maybe that I'd sort of thrown inside it, kept bottled, has also come out in some way or the other. Whether it's me being there's a point where I cry with Swara in a bathroom. It was all, I mean, it just felt like I said, because what we read, and because what one was feeling at that time, because I think that's the sort of an actor that I am. I have to feel it, and then it comes. It's just how it is. And it was just like really, literally from my gut through and through, from the beginning to the end. Even the tiff with Yudhishthir, I don't know, I just felt like I was there 100% every single time when Danish said action. I just don't know where and how. Of course, I've done a reading with everybody else, but there's a lot that goes behind also as to work, because where it starts from and where it ends was quite a beautiful journey for me, especially. And I've tried to do as much as I can from my own understanding or intelligence that I've brought about. But having said that, when I was watching Flesh, I just realized, and this is what I was discussing with my husband as well, that a lot of these cases, I mean, one knows about it, but most of these cases are actually with people who you sort of get close to, who you don't know very well, but this 1 week, 2 week sort of a relationship or a chat and things like that, which is so easy. It's so easy to pick somebody up like that. And I think apart from sex education in schools, this is something that needs to be really taught and sort of, really put down and made to make children understand that this is, I mean, it's so out there. The Facebooks and the Instagrams and the way to connect with people is so quick and so easy, but you don't know who is going to take you where. And it was cringe-worthy to watch it, but I think it just came together really well in the end, even with a message. So then that kind of works. But yeah, the whole world was very, very disturbing. Even after knowing the script and reading it so many times, if I have gotten disturbed like that and I couldn't sleep in the night after watching it, like I remember telling on the group saying that, I'm going to send you all a message after, I'm going to watch it and send it. I couldn't. I was just numb after that. It was too much.
Akshay Oberoi, of course, has brought his child into this discussion. Because he felt that is...
Listen, show about human trafficking. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, cutie.
Hey.
What have you
Listen,
got?
I am responsible for looking after him. How can, like, my wife is working, so he's gonna hang out with us. I hope everyone's okay with that.
Yeah, maybe
he's okay.
Maybe mute your...
Yeah.
I was on mute if you noticed.
Swara, can you hear me?
Maybe he should hear what we're saying.
Swara, he's trying to ask you a question.
Swara.
Sorry.
Okay, Swara, you've got to tell me what kind of an actress are you? I mean, is it very easy? I mean, when a director perhaps gives you a particular brief for a particular character, and I mean, he calls action, you do your work, you do your stance in front of the camera, and then later on when the director calls a cut, is it easy for you to snap out of the role?
I mean, I think it is. I mean, it depends on the role. I think that it depends on what you are doing, because and also depends on the director. Some of them are ready with one-liners the moment they call cut, which helps you come out of your mood very quickly, like Danish. So anyway, no, I mean, I think that I think that I have learned to understand. I mean, I have learned to navigate that mind space between action and cut. over the years. And as I said, some roles are easier, some roles are harder. Some roles you don't realize you're carrying that character back with you, but in some you can be quite clinical and move in and out. I think that with Radha, it was not hard because I had I had a good sense of her interiority, and Danish had a very good sense of it. So I think that hard to say anything nice about Danish to his face. But why don't you talk to camera, Danish? But I think that the nicest thing about Danish is that he's very. I think that as an actor, you're such an ass. As an actor, I tend to get a little bit swayed by whatever I have thought of my character, decided, whatever. So I don't have necessarily a very good sense of the larger narrative and, where I should kind of stop, pull back, where I'm kind of stepping onto the toes of another track, another character, in terms of the logic of what it is that you're trying to do. And I think Danish is very on point with, he just knows at all points. He has the whole picture at all points. So like, even if I'm bringing a very small detail, he'll be like, no, don't do that here, because in that other track, that person has said this and done this. So if you do this here, it's weird over there. So I'm like, okay, oh, wow. All right. Okay. Right. So I think that was very useful in this one. I think that there have been other, so I did not have such a problem getting out and in of this particular character. Again, the big challenge for me, as I said, in this show was the running, the physicality, and the bloody gun, because that gun was like torture. Because I just could not shoot the gun without flinching. So thank God for VFX, because if there was no VFX, I could not have been in this part, to put it very simply. So, and of course, this is something I plan to work on, but whatever. But like in other roles, like Anarkali or Ranjana or, Nilbati,
Yes.
those were the ones that I actually found it hard to negotiate between the getting in and out of the characters, because I had not realized, I don't think I necessarily realized how I was getting into or getting out. And I think this is something Akshay and me spoke about in a previous interview, that, as actors, we always have a method to get into a character. I don't know. I used to not have a method to get out of a character. And that's actually something I learned
That's
to
like Abhimanyu
cultivate
in Mahabharata.
after Anarkali. Sorry.
I'm saying that's like Abhimanyu in Mahabharata. He knew how to get into the chakra. He didn't quite know how to come out of it.
Yeah. And that's something I realized after Anarkali, that I need to have a
very
process
interesting
out to
point.
get out.
That's a really interesting point.
very interesting point.
I saw that interview that you guys did, and it's something that I've never thought of before. There's actually nobody talks about how long it takes.
Correct.
I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis must have like a 6-month getting out process.
Why do you think
doing
he?
every one of
Why do you
those
think he quit? Why do you think he stopped
Yeah,
acting? I mean,
yeah,
this stuff
yeah.
really takes a toll on you.
Yeah.
It's like exercising or doing yoga. It's a practice. You have to learn how to get over, separate yourself from characters.
The cool down is as important as the warm up.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I, for one, enjoyed the guns. This was the first time I shot somebody ever, and I just had a blast. And
I enjoyed it too.
flinching by the end
I
of it.
enjoyed it too. I enjoyed it too, mainly because your eyes were open while you were shooting it, which is something that I wasn't used to for the rest of the show.
Anyway, whatever. Moving on from this totally unnecessary question.
It was just
one
refreshing to
second,
see somebody
please.
shoot a gun with open eyes.
Okay.
Sandeep.
All right.
sorry.
Okay. I'll end this entire conversation with one question for Mahima. Mahima, you've got to tell me what exactly was perhaps one of the most challenging facets of you being a part of the show. I know I'm kind of repeating my question 10 times over, but that's one really pertinent thought that comes to my mind as of now.
It's okay. We also haven't answered the questions because we've been too busy chatting. So you're perfectly okay.
Yeah, I think every day was a challenge, because and the prep that I did, I was the last person to get cast on the show. And my only preparations that I could do was to watch documentaries, interviews, talk to some survivors. And the fact that, I was someone who gets trapped into this heinous trade, so I did become vulnerable with my character. And like Swara said, we all know how to get into the character, but we don't know how to get out of it. So like I said before, I unintentionally, I got Zoya back home. And I consciously made an effort, and of course it was a conscious effort from my side to not get out of it, because you don't want to lose on to the character, and the fact that it was a journey.
Right.
It was from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4, and then boom. I think the most difficult part was when Zoya gets, when she's raped. That was the most uncomfortable, disturbing thing that I ever did, and it did take a lot of time for me to get out of it. And also, I come from, a comfortable space, and I also thought, how will the audience that already had a perception about the characters I portray, how will they look at me? So I think this was a challenging
Right.
part to do, and I thought that I should take this up as a challenge, because I never thought that, I was 19 when I shot for Flesh. I never thought that, I'll do something like of this sort, be it the entire sequence. So I think every day was a challenge, and it was a conscious effort from my side to not snap out of Zoya.